Hi, my name is Robin Wong. I'm a photographer based in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I have with me the OM System 100-400 F5-6.3 Mark II. We're in this Kuala Lumpur Bird Park. We're gonna shoot some birds. Let's do this! As usual, before we start, here's some important disclaimers. I do not own this lens. This was loaned from OM Systems Malaysia, and I do have to return this lens to them after making this content. This is not a review of this lens. I've reviewed the original Mark I version of this Olympus 100-400. I'll put the link to the video up here. Please check it out if you have not done so. Optically, the original 100-400 and this Mark II version, they are exactly the same. I don't expect any difference in terms of image output from this lens. But the huge thing that's changed is the improvement of the image stabilization. Now, this lens is compatible with the 5-axis Sync IS, which means there will be a huge improvement when you're hand holding this lens. The 5-axis Sync IS will definitely steady your shots better. So in this particular video, I want to explore how much has the image stabilization improved. Let's take more photographs. The original Olympus 100-400 Mark I version has 2-axis image stabilization built into the lens itself. It stabilizes the pitch and the yaw movements. With certain Olympus and OM System camera bodies, you do get an additional axis of stabilization, which is the roll axis. So technically, you do get about 3-axis image stabilization on certain cameras using the old Olympus 100-400 lens. However, with this new OM System 100-400 Mark II, this lens, if you pair it with compatible Olympus and OM System camera bodies, you can unlock the full potential of the 5-axis Sync IS, which will give you a dramatic improvement in terms of handheld stability. Before I talk about what the improvements are, let's shoot more photographs. So what is the big deal with the 5-axis Sync image stabilization? Basically, it means that the lens image stabilization, which has 2 axes, would work hand in hand together with the camera's 5-axis image stabilization built in that stabilizes yaw, pitch, roll, vertical translation, and horizontal translation movements. With the lens stabilization working in sync with the body's image stabilization, you get much more effective stabilization. SIPA rating stated that the stabilization effectiveness is about 7 stops. There is a huge improvement from the previous rated 3 stops EV effectiveness without the Sync IS in the original Olympus 100 to 400. Not only you get 7 stops EV effectiveness versus 3 stops EV effectiveness, but you also get a lot more stabilization in all direction, in 5 axis versus just 3 axis in the older Olympus 100 to 400. Well, all these are just numbers, they look fantastic, but hey, how is it in real world situation? Let's take more shots. For the image stabilization effectiveness test, basically I zoom the lens all the way to 800 and I'll just set the center focus and I'll start with 1/100 should be a piece of cake for this. Let's grab a shot, let's review the image. That's sharp, no problem, right? Okay, let's go down to maybe 1/60th. Let's try again. Okay, let's review. Still perfectly sharp, no issue. Okay, let's go down to 1/40th. Let's check. Wow, look at that. Still sharp. Okay, now maybe let's be more adventurous, 1/20th of a second. Let's check. Crazy, at full telephoto zoom, 400mm, that's 800mm equivalent, and still perfectly sharp at 1/20th of a second. Let's go down to 1/10th. Can the lens do it? It is still sharp. Like, that's crazy. Okay, I'm gonna stretch a little bit more. 1/5 of a second. I think that's the limit. No, I can't do 1/5. I want to take this opportunity to remind everyone that it is not easy handling a super telephoto lens. There are many challenges that come with it. I've made a video to talk about how you can maximize your sharpness shooting with the 100 to 400 lens. I'll put the link to the video up here. Please check it out if you have not done so. Basically, in summary, just make sure you have proper hand-holding technique. Make sure that your shutter speed is not too slow while the lens and the camera can stabilize your shot. It doesn't doesn't mean that the subject is immune to movement blur or motion blur. You need certain shutter speeds to make sure that the subject you're taking is tack sharp, especially living, moving subjects, right? Like birds are alive. There might be some micro movements that you are not aware of that can cause blur or certain softness. And also, make sure that your camera body and the lens, the firmware, is up to date. With the improvement of firmware, it can fix some bugs, some issues. And I always like to shoot with either electronic shutter or anti-shock. This will ensure that there's no shutter shock or shutter vibration that can cause some blur in your image. Overall, I think it is very important to practice good shooting discipline. Make sure that you maximize the potential of the lens that you are using. Make sure you do everything you can to get the sharp images, because after all, if you get blur shots, there's no amount of post-processing in the world that can save your shots later. That's all to share about this OM System 100-400 Mark II. And I do think that the 5-axis sync IS made a huge difference. What do you guys think? Do share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you've enjoyed looking at these photographs, if you've found my sharing beneficial, please consider buying me a cup of coffee, or you can contribute directly to my PayPal, or you can join as a member on this channel. Any support, any contribution will go a long way to help me to continue making more content. Until the next one, please go out and take more photographs. Bye-bye.